going back to what I mentioned earlier, when guys walk in the facility, we've taken the players' names out, but they can see the minutes they've played. So this is from this season against New Orleans. You know, you got guys playing 43 minutes, and that top guy is very high on mechanical load. So, you know, as much as we have conversations with them about their load and how they feel, we're really going to give them recommendations if they hit that red marker. And so for this individual, if they're in the weight room that day, we're really going to work on the antagonist work, heavy mobility, cold tub, and definitely make sure they get some form of a massage, again, at those muscular junctions. The one below them, as you can see, the physiological load is high, the mechanical load is high as well. We're going to look at that and just have a conversation with that individual. If the individual just says, you know, I'm not too sore, but my legs feel a little heavy, then we're gonna go with that heat. We're gonna have them get in a hot tub. We're gonna have them go through light shooting. If they feel good enough and that HRV matches up, they can go through some change of direction work. But if they're not feeling that, or the HRV isn't where we want it to be, then again, it's gonna be light shooting, some BFR, and an upper body lift. And then as you go down, you know, you can see guys are in their optimal ranges. Again, that's where the HRV comes in big for us and guiding what it is that we do that day. And then for those low guys, or the guys that didn't get minutes, you know, they're playing ones and they're continuing to improve and really hit the markers that we think are important, or that coaches think are important, that they build on. So again, this is a big thing for us, and really has been a good thing for player buy-in. Always having a why on why we're doing something has been vital, you know, because these guys, they see through, you know, the bull crap. So they understand that we're here for them, but they want to know why they're doing something. And so this allows us to always have the why, based on that mechanical and physiological load. And then to compound off of this, something that we do together as a group is, you know, sit down weekly or every 3 or 4 days if we can, and we kind of analyze these trends to see where guys are at. And, you know, this is a short snip of, you know, somewhere in the season, but you would think possibly in your mind that if somebody's high in mechanical load, they're probably high in physiological load, right? But what we're doing here is the definition of a high mechanical load game. If you look at the game 28 on December 18th, that's their standard deviation. So it's only marked as a high mechanical load when they're over 1 standard deviation above their average. So you can see in that game 28, the mechanical load has just gotten over the top of their average. But when you compare that to their physiological load, they covered the same amount of miles, same distance. Average speed relatively stayed the same. So what they're doing is working hard, most likely in the half court, and then making up for that, you know, in transition. So that to us gives us just a little more insight. And then what we'll do is we'll look back at, you know, key players and how they seem to match up against certain teams, so that we can get a better preparation before that game, knowing what's about to come based on who they're playing against, who's going to primarily be guarding that individual. And then the last bit of this is understanding that, you know, these guys are all a little bit different. We treat our bigs a little bit different than our guards. We find that our big men take longer to recover, typically need a little more love when it comes to table work, whether that's because they set screens, you know, they're always constantly banging down low, getting rebounds, things like that. We're not sure why, or it's just the fact that it's, you know, they're a bigger human. You know, if you're approaching 300 pounds, it's going to take you a little bit longer to get up and down the court. And what's that do to you and your body for recovery? So that's kind of the quick and dirty version of this. This could probably be an hour-long conversation, but that's kind of how we gear things, using phys load and mechanical load, and then looking at HRV the next day, and guiding our recovery based on what we assume the tissue damage or, you know, that metabolic stress is. and using all we can. And then the biggest piece is having conversations with guys, seeing where they're at, and then gearing towards, that day's session based on their responses. So.